Hi guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbothecary. I hope you all had a great Christmas and are out there enjoying what the end of winter has to offer us. But if you're an eczema sufferer like me, your gloves are your best friends and your worst enemies, and this recipe of oatmeal and aloe vera soap will be your best friend. We will be using the soap-based method rather than the lye chemical method. Now I've just got back from a particularly cold forage looking for nettle, dock leaf and some plantain lanceolatum for my next video, which is a nettle and calendula soothing soap. I've got back and my hands are particularly sore, and as I wash my hands about 1 billion times a day, creams are no good for me, so I thought I'd incorporate it into a soap. Now, as I always state, I'm not a doctor, not medically trained, not even trained in ethnobotany. I just have a good guidebook, and I started with a really good recipe book. Thank you, James Wong. 8 years of research later, and this is how I make my oatmeal and aloe vera soap. The naturally occurring emollients in oatmeal has been used for generations to soothe skin and help with irritations. Now you can start by grinding your oatmeal, however I soak mine and then start in order to make my oatmeal milk. And I do this by adding 2 cups of hot water to 1 cup of oatmeal and allowing it to sit for about an hour while the oatmeal itself softens and you get that creamy top on it. So give it a good stir and set it aside while we move on to our other ingredients. Now, as all eczema sufferers know if you've been to the doctor, eczema is a rather broad term given to a skin-based irritation. What we do know, however, is there is flaking and damaged skin where germs can breed. So my choice of ingredients is to heal, disinfect and help build the skin rebuild itself. So we have some natural organic honey. We have some coconut oil. You can use alternatives. I use an organic, unprocessed, cold-pressed coconut oil. You can use rapeseed oil, olive oils, almond oil. Excuse my little man running in the background. A very healthy chunk of aloe vera that I'm going to extract the gel from. Now all of these items, and my witch hazel, all of these oils, including the tea tree, are to clean and moisturize and get the skin ready for healing. And then we have our soap base. Now the one I'm using today is not completely chemical free, but it is a cheap alternative if you do not suffer from sensitivities. The chemical content in this is quite low. It is free from SLSs, the extract or SLESs, parabens and sulfates, most of which are just chemical versions of foaming agents. I am going to use some fresh lavender flowers in the first oil. I like the scent and they are very good for your skin, so we'll pop them in too. These are my dried ones that I harvested during the spring and summer. And I'm just using a pretty mold with these little bugs. We've got ladybirds and dragonflies and butterflies and things. So I will start by infusing 2 heaped tablespoons really of coconut oil in with my lavender flowers. I'm using the baby rubber spoon at this stage because it changes color when the oil gets too hot, so it helps me make sure that I don't actually cook those lavender flowers, which isn't what I want to do. I just want to infuse the scents and the essential oils into that coconut oil before I add the rest of my ingredients. Now, once infused, you can sieve or strain or pop through a cheesecloth in order to get all the plant matter out, but as I didn't have that much in there and I don't mind the little bits left over, I'm just going to scoop the majority out. Now, you do lose quite a lot of the oils doing it this way, but I'm only making a small batch and I'll get over it. Now this step isn't necessary with all soap bases, however as this one isn't quite firm and I'm adding a lot of liquid, I'm going to add some beeswax pellets to mine in order to firm it up. So I will be adding about 1 part in comparison to the 2 parts oil and the 5 parts soap and 2 parts of the oats at the end. And once my beeswax is nice and melted, I am going to pop those soaked oats in my food processor and give them a really good blend in order to get the oats milk that I want at the end. And once well blended, I shall pop it through a cheesecloth in order to get most of the milk, and I only want a few of the little oats bits left over at the end. You can leave it to slow drip for a few hours if you have the time and the patience. However, I don't, so I'm going to give mine a good squeeze and twist and get out all that yummy goodness so I can move on with the next step. I like to add in some rose petals or calendula petals, however this is up to you. We are going to put in about 2 inches of one of my aloe leaves though, and this works out about half part compared to the oatmeal milk that we're going to be adding. So I am just going to trim this off, get the gel out, and then pop it back in with the blender and all of the oat milk. Once all the beeswax has melted in my lavender infused oil, I'm going to start adding the 5 parts of the molten pour crystal soap base. As I said, it's free from chemical emollients and the foaming agents, parabens and sulfates. So I'm going to chuck in, as I said, 5 parts compared to my 2 parts of oil. Keep stirring that as it melts until everything is all melted in. I'm now going to add a tablespoon's worth of active honey, which is microbial and helps to moisturize the skin and helps it absorb into the skin. So we're going to keep stirring that until it's all absorbed in. And once that is all melted in, I will add around 15 drops of the witch hazel and around 10 drops of the tea tree oil to act as a cleanser for the skin, but also a preservative for the soap. You might find some clumping as you add cooler fluids to the mix, but just keep heating it till it is all melted in. Give it a good stir, and while it is still warm, we are going to mix in our oatmeal milk. So we're going to keep stirring that until it's all absorbed in, and then pop that into our molds and pop it in a fridge once it's cooled. And then I pop mine in the freezer for 20 minutes afterwards. And here we have our beautiful 3-layered oatmeal and aloe vera soap. Thank you for joining us for another recipe at the Herbathocary. Please like, share and subscribe, and many more videos to come.